So tired, I'm missing my own bag. I don't feel it in my leg, but boy, right in my lower back. I tell you there, and in my forearms. So one of the workers asked me, he said, well, what do you think it would take for an American to come out here and do this job? And I think it would take like $30 an hour. Guaranteed, like not even based on the buckets that they get. And then when you'd go to the grocery store, your orange juice would cost $12. Because after being here, I tell you what, I don't think most of you would do this job. That's the fact. I couldn't even imagine like having to do this every day, 6 days a week for your whole life.
And why don't I hire Americans? The simple answer is we can't get the workers. No American ever calls. No American ever shows up. That's why we are so grateful for the guys that are willing to come and do the work here on the farm. We can't do this without them. And we can't do this with people in our local communities a lot.
As well. We've been weakening our society since before my time. I started working at like 13 years old. A full-time job. I wrestled. I played every sport you can imagine. So the idea that they can't afford to have these kids do this is an anomaly for me in my mind. If there's an issue with inflation, we should address that with the federal government, not the state of Florida. So I appreciate you running this bill. You guys continue doing the great work and help change the youth out there to have them start working full time. Thanks.
Great. Rep Barrington, you're up.
So Florida's immigration crackdown has led to a lot of jobs remaining open, and Florida is hoping to replace those workers with children. This is Senate Bill 918, which has already passed a state Senate committee. This bill, if voted into law, would allow children as young as 14 to work overnight shifts even on school days. Also, it would allow children over the age of 16 to work more than 8 hours per day and more than 30 hours per week without a meal break. Now, this comes after Florida already tried to introduce a bill that would allow companies to pay workers less than minimum wage. And also, if parents opt in, their children could be paid below minimum wage. You're a terrible parent if you're opting in for this. This is Republican logic. Instead of appreciating immigrants, undocumented workers, giving them a pathway to a citizenship, and actually, thanking them for the job that they do that others won't, none of that, but let's bring back child labor. And remember, to keep up with news stories like these, sign up for my newsletter, check out my podcast and one of my other social media channels, link in bio.
You guys, this has got to be a joke.
Right now, Florida is now debating possibly lifting child labor laws in an effort to fill jobs that were previously filled by undocumented.
This is where we're at. One of the deepest reddest states is in the fuck around and find out mode. And they're already talking about lowering. That's the solution? I mean, that's just as good as using a group message app to talk about military strategy. I mean, that's where we're at here. Okay? Prices are going up. We're deporting all kinds of people. And now we need to fill some jobs, right? So why not let the kids do it? Right? Because you know what? We told you. You wouldn't want to do the work. We told you that. You would not want to do the work. So now what? Put the kids to work? Brilliant. Just brilliant. Like, I'm ready to crack up so hard that I think I'm on the verge of tears. This has got to be the most pathetic headline I have seen since January.
Morning. Florida, come on up to the front. Let me ask you a question. Which families do you think are going to be forced to go work at the age of 14? Some of you might be aware Florida, as with many states, already has child labor laws intact. What SB 918 does is it eliminates certain restrictions for 16 and 17-year-olds that were written in the law previously, and it brings up new things for 14 and 15-year-olds. Now, see, one of the main reasons that this bill is being revisited and re-edited is because the loss of the migrant workers in Florida. DeSantis, see, he's got the perfect solution: children. Because his thought on why 16 and 17-year-olds should be able to work more than 30 hours a week is because, well, someone's got to do the job. So let's talk about what this could mean should this bill continue forward and become the new child labor law in Florida. And I would like to point out that I have been researching this bill and I have seen it framed as a parental rights issue. And they are framing it and quite literally saying Democrats should not be able to choose your child's bedtime. Why? Why would they be talking about parental rights and bedtimes in regard to child labor laws? Oh, that's because in Florida, the current law says that if you are under the age of 17, you cannot work overnight, and you actually cannot work any later than 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. Why is that law in place? Because education is important. And we know even as adults, if we were to work an overnight shift and then have to go in and use our brain and our underdeveloped frontal lobes to learn, our outcomes would not be nearly as successful as a well-rested, well-fed peer that is sitting next to us. That doesn't sound like a parental right issue to me. What that sounds like is people trying to protect children. I digress, as always. What this bill will do is it will eliminate all current time restrictions for working children in Florida. We are now even going to say that 14-year-olds can work overnight. Not only work overnight, but also work overnight on the school nights. Also in that bill, it says that if you are a 16 or 17-year-old, you are entitled to a meal break, not anymore. Because current Florida lawmakers say that your 16 or 17-year-old child, they don't need a meal. They don't need a meal break. Proposed bill is that if your child is 15 or younger, they do deserve a meal break. However, they must work 4 continuous hours in order to earn themselves a meal. Your child has to put in 4 uninterrupted hours in order to get a meal. In this bill, they also talk about how if you are a 14 or 15-year-old and you have already earned your diploma or your GED, you can go to work. Or if you are a virtual student, you get to go to work as well. As long as your teacher is not on site with you, you can get a job. This bill is alarming because it is quite literally just about child exploitation in the work field. It also says that if your family deems that you need to get a job for financial hardships, your superintendent can write off on that. If you're not a really great student, your superintendent can write off on you getting a job as well. I'll ask you a question. Which families do you think are going to be forced to go work at the age of 14? I'll wait. Okay, I don't have all day. Have a great day.
America is officially in the pits. Florida is debating whether to lift child labor laws due to a job shortage due to all of the migrants that they have rounded up and shipped out of Florida.
You can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
There are things like child labor laws put into place to protect children from being overworked and to provide safety for children working jobs that they should not be working on. This bill would allow workers as young as 14 years old to work overnight shifts, even on school nights, because there is a job shortage in Florida right now. If this isn't Governor DeSantis' a fuck around and find out moment, I don't know what is. just can't be what people voted for. This can't be what you thought. Yes, this is going to be for me. He's making the country great again. To allow children to work overnight, because what kind of overnight jobs are there? Amazon, factory workers, stock rooms, children as young as 14. Florida has always been the underarm pit of America, but bro, this is fucking crazy. This is crazy.
She's right. It's in Project 2025. I found the page 595, which is right here. I'm going to read from it right now. Hazard order regulations. Some young adults show an interest in inherently dangerous jobs. Current rules forbid many young people, even if their family is running the business, from working in such jobs. This results in worker shortages in dangerous fields and often discourages otherwise interested young workers from trying the more dangerous jobs. With parental consent and proper training, certain young adults should be allowed to learn and work in more dangerous occupations. This would give a green light to training programs and build skills in teenagers who may want to work in these fields. DOL should amend its hazard order regulations to permit teenage workers access to work in regulated jobs with proper training. Because, hey, what could possibly go wrong if these families that own businesses that consist of jobs that are inherently dangerous are no longer prevented from forcing their children to work them? What could go wrong there?
Florida, did Ron just tell y'all that your 14-year-olds can get up out of bed and go work the night shift on a school night? That was his way of fixing the immigration problem? That they would just use your children to work? Did he really just tell the people in Florida that? Because if he did, he didn't lost his damn mind. 14, that they don't need 8 hours of sleep. Well, because they just up playing video games in the middle of the night anyway. That they just up watching TV in the middle of the night anyway. That they could be clocking somebody's time cards and working. Or as soon as they get out of school, that they can do, a few hours, 5 days a week, and then hit that Saturday, Sunday. Because the immigrants can't do it, but your 14-year-old can. Did he really just say that?
Regarding all these farmers that are now crying about possibly losing their farms because they voted for Trump, this is why you absolutely should not feel bad for any of these farmers that voted for Trump. Now, the ones that didn't vote, yes, feel sorry for them, go support them, do whatever you need to do. But the ones that voted for Trump, do not feel sorry for them, and let me tell you why. I am a builder, and I've been building shit in Oklahoma City going on like 20 years now, and farmers are not stupid. If you have the ability to manage a farm and understand the weather, the climate, your machinery, the chemistry that goes into your crops, you are not a stupid person. You're just not. And especially when you come from generational farming, you have the ability to look ahead and predict what you need to survive. And so when you have two candidates where you have Kamala Harris on one side giving you a whole fucking list of shit that she's going to do for you and make your life better, and then you have Trump on the other side who can't even come out with a normal sounding sentence, and you still vote for that guy, and you are a farmer, you are either racist or sexist or both. And they're only crying now because now they are being treated exactly how they voted for other people to be treated. Got that? They are being treated how they voted for other minorities, people of color, everybody else, poor people, sick people. That's how they voted for other people to be treated. And now they're the ones being treated that way by losing their livelihood, their homes, their income, their farms. So do not feel sorry for them. This is exactly what they had coming. Quick follow-up as to why exactly would Trump be doing this to farmers anyways? And I'm guessing 99% chance it's because he wants to bankrupt farms so his corporate buddies can come in and do a land grab. Basically what you have been seeing the last few years, major companies buying up a bunch of rental houses and jacking up the price of rents, and it's all going to corporations. It's probably something similar to let these farms go to foreclosure and his corporate buddies be able to come in, swoop them up, and now you've got bigger companies involved in more of our day-to-day food.
I am shocked. I am very, very shocked. Why is it America is so determined to go back 20 years, 30 years ago, 50 years ago? In the year 2025, you're talking about child labor. When most countries are trying to move forward, America is seriously hell-bent on moving backwards. It's 50 years ago. You're talking about segregation, bring it back. You're talking about child labor at this time, the year 2025. When countries around the world, they are focusing on telling their children to go to school, get the best education, so that they can move their country forward in the technology and of course in other sectors. So what's happening in America? That is the question people need to ask. What exactly is happening in America? Florida, you guys, you deserve what you're going through right now because you voted for this. This is what they call FAFO. You play around and then these are the results. You see those jobs which undocumented immigrants used to do? You see those jobs? Those difficult, physically labor-intensive jobs? The ones which you guys look down upon? Where are the people now? Where are the workers? You forced them out. You pushed them out. And now you're turning now, you're looking at who's gonna fill that gap, and you're looking at your kids, the future of America. Those are the future of America. The age 15, 16, 17, that is the time when they need to concentrate in their studies. That is the time they need to focus in their future, or what they're going to do, what they're going to pursue. And you're telling them it's okay to go and work 8 hours shift at night, all right? You are allowing adults to supervise them. That's the reason why you're passing this bill. So when people look at Florida, they're wondering what's happening. Why is it that you're so hell-bent or moving backwards instead of moving forward? And these are the results of, pushing, voting. You're just voting and you're not even thinking of the consequences. And these are the consequences. Now, ask yourself, which parent will allow the child to go and work that 8-hour shift? Which parent? Or are they going to force parents to allow their children to go to work? Are they going, what kind of strategies are they going to use? That's the question people need to ask themselves. Are they going to force people? Are they going to knock on people's door and say, okay, we want kids around this age and this age to come out, we are going to take them to factories to work, we're going to take them to farms to work? Is that what they're going to do? You need to ask yourself those questions, because what terrifies me is this bill has already been passed, and people have accepted it in the Congress, in the Florida states. Now, what's going to happen next? What else are they going to insist on doing? Because from someone who's on the outside looking in, they're wondering, why is it that you're so focused on moving backward as a state and also as a country instead of moving forward? That is the question people are asking themselves. Is Florida state, are the people of Florida stupid to think? Are people of Florida, not thinking of the future? Why are you trying to cutting your nose just to spite yourself? Why are you doing that? Because if you're going to kill, and when I say use the word killing, I mean in terms of, exploiting child labor at the crucial moment when the kids are trying to pursue their future, when they're trying to pursue their education at a higher level, that is the college and of course university stage. When you're trying to exploit child labor, you're literally saying you don't want these kids to grow up to become professional in certain fields. That's what you're trying to say, in certain sectors. You're not, it's like you're saying, I want to do something. You're looking at the short-term gains instead of looking at the future gains. Basically, that's what you guys are doing. So what's going to happen to Florida State when these children don't go to school? When now they focus on doing these jobs. So what's going to happen to their future? What will happen to them? Of course, they're going to cut their future. They're going to stop growing. They will stop, looking for these skills that are going to help them become future doctors, future programmers, future data analysts, future surgeons, We need to look at the bigger picture. It's not just about today. Look at the bigger picture. And quite frankly, these are the results of, voting against your best interest. This is the result. This is what we call for season continue. For the next 4 years, it's going to be tough. It's going to be painful. It's going to be excruciating. But people need to fasten their seatbelt and accept that this is the reality. This is what you voted for. And wait for the next 4 years down the line when the elections come. Then hopefully you're going to do your best, you're going to do your research and vote for your best interest. So what are your comments? Do you agree with these child labor laws which have been passed?